allow the children to have the budget every year.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
Off your mind.
like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary political, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary political, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo to dodo.
Oyedu IPOB, Omeri Onendizu, Oniriya, Abakare, Mama Daora, Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi go Oyedu IPOB, Omeri Onendizu, Oniriya, Abakare, Mama Daora, Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapori Meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining us at this moment. Depends on the time you are joining. Please read the caption of the broadcast, the description of the broadcast. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell everybody that cares to know that Mayegu today.
And yes, right. And yes, right. And yes, right.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeared in their courts today again, and he did just appear. He appeared by leaving us quotable quotes in front of the injustice Binta Nyako. You should share this broadcast.
And yes,
Thank you, Mutide. So, welcome to the brunch time with Mayegu. A supposed special edition that is featuring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's, illegitimate trial in Nigeria. The man that Nigeria kidnapped. Nearly 3 years ago, because they said, in fact, kidnapping him, which actually violates the international treaties that Nigeria is part of, as being one of the reasons why he cannot be tried in Nigeria. I know a lot of money has been expended in the propaganda that makes some of you today, or maybe before now as well, kind of blame your miserable existence. The miserable existence that the criminals in Nigeria has foisted on you. You blame that on Nnamdi Kanu. But it's all right. It's been more than 8 years now that they have been trying to shut him up, shut him down, even kill him. But they have not been able to, other than they have only succeeded in keeping him as a trophy. So today, Nnamdi Kanu appeared in front of the same culpable Binta Nyako, and he kept his composure, he kept his sanity, and he appeared more audacious in front of the state-sponsored trial. And again, they couldn't really try him. So today, Nnamdi Kanu, which has become should I say Nnamdi Kanu's case, which has become a sort of a conduit pipe for those who are in the DSS holding him. They told us that it actually cost them over 500 million naira every time they have to bring Nnamdi Kanu out like that, or bring him to their court. And every time they bring him out, it all ends in stalemate. Stalemate in the sense that they are trying a man that is innocent of all charges, enough that he continued to defeat them in their own court. I have some of you who are pretty much a sworn enemy of Nnamdi Kanu, or sworn enemy of the IPOB, the people you blame for your miserable existence and the failed leadership that you have in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily rendition from Kenya by the Boko Haram government, who believes that Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB, they are sort of a bit of a threat to the advancement of their Fulani jihadism, the Fulani jihad and the war on the rest of us that they call the infidels. They didn't say that to you before now, and some of you still don't know why they continue to kill the Igbos in Nigeria to cover up what their real intention is. So Nnamdi Kanu can't be tried in Nigeria courts. It got his case up to their Supreme Court, where even the Supreme Court of Nigeria was afraid to actually give justice. They concluded, they agreed that the trial of Nnamdi Kanu is illegal, but they did not have the ball to let him go. So he was sent back to the trial court again. The woman who, for God knows why, or the agenda, why she insisted on sending an innocent man into gallows. They continue to change their charges every now and then, because we all know that the intention is not actually to try him for anything. The intention is to keep him away from the public and possibly kill him slowly. They haven't succeeded in any of this and keeping him away. But every time he appears in their courts, he appears larger than life. So today, before now, the Nigerian criminal system, or the Nigerian criminals that you call your legal system in Nigeria, right? They have been looking for all evidence to kind of, jail Nnamdi Kanu. Unfortunately, they've not been able to get any of those accusations stick. Apart from the trial in the media, as well as the sworn and paid mouthpieces to condemn, to condemn the IPOB of crimes that they didn't commit. Except for those, none of the allegations has been able to be proved in their own courts. None. So Nnamdi Kanu is being tried for what they call treason, treasonable felony. And treasonable felony, they're also trying him for, trying to break away from Nigeria. These two are not, the first one, so the second one is not illegal. To want to admit that you want to leave this contraption, you don't want to be part of it anymore. And then they make a move for a referendum and let the people decide if they still want to be part of this contraption or not. The second one, the first one, which is the treasonable felony, is just a make-up charges that they do not have any evidence of. So for those of you who have been following this case, this illegal trial, for years now, it is becoming more exhaustive and embarrassing as well. And this is why sometimes the offer they gave to him, they gave him an offer. The offer was that, could you please just stop the agitation for Biafra just stop it. If you promise us that you're going to stop the agitation and the demand for the referendum of the Biafrans out of the Igbos, especially from Nigeria, you will be allowed to go. They sent their Eastern politicians to talk to him. He didn't budge. They brought in some foreign diplomat or whatever to come and talk to him as well. He did not budge. Then they decided to just keep him by, But Nnamdi Kanu himself is a tough nut to crack. He's a very strong man, like nail. They say he's as strong as a nail, right? It couldn't be bent, it couldn't be broken. He's demanding for just one thing. He said, if you allow the Igbos to have a referendum in Nigeria and the Igbos vote to be part of Nigeria and not break away, he will walk away and you will never see him again. But if you think he's the one that should possibly get to stop the agitation for Biafra, that even if you kill him, it is never going to change the demand for the Biafra by the Igbos. In all of this, an innocent man has been locked up and we call him the prisoner of conscience. Today, Oyendu appeared in their court and we will go to that court today, among other things that happened. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is also a message to those of you who probably gloat, masturbate in public. Every time Nnamdi Kanu's name is mentioned or IPOB is mentioned, you are quick to jump at it, to spread your falsehood and then propaganda and all the lies that they have told you. You are so kind of like quick to jump at those news. Some of you want him, you actually wanted him killed. Some said that they should lock the prison and throw the key away. But the thing is this, right? Nigeria is not better off. They've made your life more miserable. That Nnamdi Kanu, whether Nnamdi Kanu is out there or Nnamdi Kanu is in there, the criminals who are destroying Nigeria, they've made your life more miserable. A lot of you from northern Nigeria that you believed Nnamdi Kanu, they told you Nnamdi Kanu was a threat to you in northern Nigeria. Now you've come to realize that the real threat to you in northern Nigeria are those criminals parading themselves as your leaders in northern Nigeria. So Nnamdi Kanu has been in their detention for over 3 years, so to say now, right? However, your lives have been more horrible. Your region has been more like bloody. Your women, your children have been captured, raped, sold as slaves. Many of you and your villages have been ransacked, destroyed. More of your people are now living in IDP camp. Those who told you Nnamdi Kanu was a threat to Nigeria, they didn't tell you that they are the real threat to your lives. I am going to get to that part this afternoon. But first thing first, the arrival of Nnamdi Kanu in their court is larger than your court, is larger than your system, is almost like bigger than your country as we speak. You may not have to admit it, right? But this is the man you will want gone, but it's not going anywhere.
Talk about out of court settlement, you wouldn't mind. So, has that made any progress towards that regard in terms of
my lawyers have been about to actually tell you that.
But you've been able to meet with them after that particular day.
Have you dealt with this very issue?
No, no.
Which one?
It has to be after court. We can talk about that. We're here for the judicial proceedings.
The political solution now. We are waiting for federal government.
Visit you after the proceedings the last day.
Absolutely. We're here for the judicial proceedings.
Yes. We're here for the.
We can address the other one.
We'll do that later. And we have written a letter to them now. They have not replied.
Okay, no problem.
No, they have not responded. Yes, they have not responded. I met with Attorney General. So what are we doing? The solution was the solution actually adopted by the Supreme Court. No. And most of the journalists take time to go through some of these judgments and then come to the ruling. Go through all the rulings and the judgments. You know, we have no case to answer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a magician. I don't mind. I don't want to go meet me. Not frustrated, so that it will not be a
I don't understand. I have
Bishop, at least I can see you.
Yes, even though it's not it's still when you come, you regularize when you feel this.
Don't block me. Don't block me. Don't block me.
Careful with what this guy is asking. My lawyers is going to be very simple. Lawyers, right? No. Which one?
It has to be after court.
Which one?
We're here for the judicial proceedings.
The political solution now. We are waiting for federal government.
Absolutely. We're here for the judicial proceedings. We can address the other one.
And we have written a letter to them now. They have not replied. Oh, they have not responded. Yes, they have not responded. I met with Attorney General at the so what are we having? No. And most of you journalists take time to go through some of these judgments and then come to the ruling. Go to all the rulings and the judgments. You know, I don't want federal government in it. Not frustrated, so that it will not be a
I don't understand. Yes.
Maxwell.
People without going to jail and suffering for them. It's normal. But my primary concern is to stop insecurity. And it's like it will stop. Once I come out, it will stop. And they know it. So those keeping me in detention are those that are either benefiting or profiting from this insecurity. That's all there is to it. Okay?
And he keep repeating that the insecurity in eastern Nigeria will stop the day I am out of this place. Those who are keeping me here are those who are benefiting or profiting from the insecurity that is now enveloping the eastern part of Nigeria. On the 27th of June, 2021, Boko Haram's government, through Malamu, they wrote a memo to the Interpol in Kenya, and they said they were looking for Nnamdi Kanu, and wherever they see him, they should hold him, because they had an intel that Nnamdi Kanu is in Kenya to meet with the deadly Al-Shabaab terrorist group in Kenya. Just like Nigeria suffers from Boko Haram's terrorism, Kenyans have been suffering from the terrorism of Al-Shabaab from Somalia. So immediately they got the wind of that memo. Nnamdi Kanu that flew to Kenya, arrived in Kenya, booked himself in a place in Kenya, checked himself into the hospital in Kenya for a quick check, and then drove to the Kenya airport to pick up a friend that also arrived in Kenya around that time, was waylaid, ambushed by the Kenyan police, who grabbed him based on this fake intel from Nigeria. And then they held him, tortured him for straight 7 days. And it all ended as nothing. He wasn't in Kenya to meet anyone or any terror group or what have you. It was a fake intel. But around that time, it has become a diplomatic arrangement, a black op. That's a black operation, a dark operation, which was just to help them grab him. That same memo was not just for Kenya. It was for many other African countries around that time. This was over 3 years ago. So Kenya authority were like, we are so sorry. Even though they gave us this intel that you are here to meet with some terrorists in our country, but we found out that you are not. But we can't judge. Then it was like, okay, now that you have nothing on me, can you please let me go? Say, well, we are sorry, we can't just let you go. It seems that the Nigerian government is really, really interested in you. In fact, as we speak, there is a private jet from Abuja, waiting on the Kenyan airport right now to take you to Nigeria. You are no longer our business anymore, and we are sorry. Whatever it is with you and the Nigerian authority is no longer in our hands. That was how Malamu and others organized the extraordinary rendition, which is the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. What did they do? They drugged him, put him in a private jet, and flew him to Abuja. As he was arriving in Abuja, Binta Nyako, the same woman, was waiting as directed by Malamu. Malamu as well has called the press to his own office as the Attorney General of Nigeria to tell them that yes, we've got him. We've gotten Nnamdi Kanu. Now let me roll it back a bit, just for the sake of those who are interested in knowing the whole truth around this, apart from the other propaganda you probably have heard or the one you have been fed many times over and over and over again. IPOB, full meaning of Indigenous People of Biafra, is a non-violent, peaceful self-determination campaigner or self-determination advocacy group. Non-violent, peaceful self-determination advocacy group known to more than 180 governments in the world. Talking about 180 countries in the world. However, they were a primary threat, not just to the Fulani terrorists, but to the Igbo politicians, Igbo elites. IPOB was so successful that people were actually walking about with their IPOB membership identification. It's not a secret, it's not a violent, it's not a terror or anything group. The Igbo political class, Igbo governors, Igbo elites, they felt threatened because around that time, the only name in the mouth of more than 80% Igbos, and including non-Igbos who are Biafrans, here is something you should know. When you hear about Biafra is not just about the Igbos. Biafra also includes those who are also non-Igbos in that same geographical spread beyond the core Igboland and Igbo-speaking people. That is what the Biafra is, right? So Nnamdi Kanu became the most powerful political figure in eastern part of Nigeria and beyond. So around that time, the political class felt like this guy actually wields so much influence that if for any reason he should decide to want to go into politics, it will bury majority of them like that without spending a dime. People were offering IPOB their money, their resources, and their lives. Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu became the first Igbo in a long time to make Igbos believe that whatever conditioning and other stigmatization that Nigeria has placed on them, they are the cause if they accept them. Nnamdi Kanu happened to be the first to remind them that you need to push back. And when you say push back, it is for your own sake and your unborn generation. However, this threat was something that the political class couldn't really take. So they started the plots of cutting him to size. What was he all about? What does he want? Does he want money? Does he want power? They tried to befriend him. They now discovered that he doesn't want any of those. He just wanted the Igbos, right? To be protected, to be defended, and at the same time, to be respected. That if you can do all of this, Nigeria will respect the Igbos beyond what they are currently being offered. But to the political class, we don't even understand what you mean by that. So it is better we do something now. We need to do something now. That aside, to Nigeria, especially the Fulani oligarch, who always listen to his broadcast every now and then, his message was so powerful that even non-Igbos, they were beginning to kind of subscribe to his messages. They were beginning to question things when he now unleashed his expose on the agenda of the Fulanis, especially the one championed by Bokwari and those around him. That was too much for Nigeria to handle. In fact, a lot of people became so worried that if people begin to take this guy serious, Nigeria is going to break up. And it's not just going to be the Igbos, the Biafrans that will demand that. The rest of Nigeria will actually demand for the breakup of Nigeria. Something has to be done. He told us that the Fulanis were coming. The Fulani terrorists in particular, they are coming. That they will be armed and they will besiege, I mean, they will invade our space. They will demand for the control of our space. If we dare question them, they will kill us. And their leaders, they will protect them. These were unimaginable, unbelievable things at the time. There are a lot of people who were like, it's impossible. This guy must be mad. This guy, something is wrong with this guy. They must do something about this guy. So they started pushing the agenda of he's looking for war. He wants to start another war. He went to America to speak to the Igbos in America, where he was so blunt and the same way, just straightforward. There is jihad coming. They are going to kill our people. They are going to massacre our people beyond what you can imagine. And if all of you are here in America, don't do something now, you will not have anywhere to go back to. Nobody believed that could happen. They thought it was just somebody who is mad, who was just trying to, So many people still have that belief to this day, despite the fact that everything he told us, come to pass, everything. They still won't believe that somebody like him is the one telling them. So, for those who are actually behind the agenda, those who are still to bring Ruga to us, those who are going to ask us our land or our life, that we should choose one, those who are still going to tell us that we should learn to live with our killers, they were like, who told this guy? How did he know? Because then it was like unthinkable, unbelievable. You know, like how could, no, that's impossible. They can't try that. Something is wrong with this guy. So it is better is they banked on that and get him away. I mean, take him out of circulation. So we championed that. Igbo politicians, since the Fulani terrorists, Bokwari and his gang, since they had their agenda, and the Igbos are threatened, the political class are threatened about Nnamdi Kanu's popularity, so it was easier for them to work together. That was why the first people to proscribe IPOB, the first set of people to call IPOB a terrorist organization, they were not Hausas or Fulanis. They were not Northerners. The first group of people to call IPOB terrorist group, they were the Igbo politicians, Igbo elites. And they started funding the media propaganda to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is seen as a warmonger, hateful person, is somebody who is spreading hatred. So those who were sponsoring that, they took their memo to Bokwari to help them. They said, please help us. So we are not supporting this guy. We are not with this guy. This guy is only trying to cause trouble. He just wants to lead us to another war. So Bokwari, that was a silent killer. It was like, oh, really? Do you want me to deal with him? They say, yes, please do something. Help us. If we don't do something, this Nnamdi Kanu will begin to tell his boys. He will begin to tell others to kill us. To the point that even the deadliest people in Eastern Nigeria, I'm talking about, you can say maybe, cultists and some hardened criminals in Eastern Nigeria, they all have respect for Nnamdi Kanu. They all sit to listen to him. It was more or less like, sometimes they just like, give us the order. Nnamdi, give us the order. And he won't, because his agenda is not to cause war. His agenda is not to cause insecurity. His agenda is to awaken the Igbos, their consciousness, and make them ready for what was coming, right? The politicians were so scared, they ran to Bokwari. Bokwari that had an unfinished business with the Eastern Nigeria anyway, when they said there was no winner, no vanquish in Nigeria genocidal war against the Biafrans. So when the Biafran, supposedly Igbo politicians came to him to help them deal with Nnamdi Kanu, he was like, oh, thank you. Yes, we can do that. How do you want it? How? Because I can send the soldiers in. I can send this in. I can send that in. I know some of you who actually today, ignorantly, or probably because of what you have been fed in the media, who hate, you hate Donald Trump because of the way Donald Trump speaks or talks. It was the same Donald Trump who raised the alarm when he met with Bokwari in Washington. Said to him, hey, Mr. Buhari, why are you killing Christians in Nigeria? Why are you allowing terrorists, jihadists, to be killing Christians in Nigeria? It was the same Donald Trump who invited the escaped, or what have you, Chibok girls to America. It was Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump who gave the order that, yes, we are selling you this Tucano jet, but this Tucano jet must never be used in any part of Eastern Nigeria, ever. If you try that, then definitely you'll be violating this agreement. Today, some of you hate him because of what he said and what he's saying and how he's saying things, Abi. It was the same guy, Donald Trump. Because of this terrorism in Nigeria, there no fresh terrorism. It was the same Donald Trump who raised an executive order, right? That the Christians in Nigeria and other parts of the world are endangered people and they must be protected by America. All of that dead the moment Donald Trump was removed from office in 4 years ago. That is not even just that, okay? So they went on. They invited the murderer, Bokwari, to do everything to help them crush IPOB. And so Malamu, Bokwari, and others, they declared IPOB a terrorist organization, something that even the American government rejected. American government assigned Fulani terrorists as the 4th deadliest terror group in the whole world. But in Nigeria, they are having field day. They were making laws to kind of give them lands, protect them. They still enjoy it today. While IPOB, that never hurt anyone, not a single attack is recorded when Nnamdi Kanu was leading, and then it was kind of out there. But guess what? This whole gang up gave Bokwari the license to kill. And of course, today, despite all the news you are hearing about the terrorism in northern part of Nigeria, Eastern Nigeria is the most militarized part of Nigeria today. Eastern Nigeria is the most militarized, terrorized by the supposed agent of Nigeria today, courtesy of the Igbo politicians, Igbo governors, Igbo lawmakers, and the rest of them, right? So Nnamdi Kanu became a target. He must be removed. He must be killed. IPOB must be neutralized. Everyone associated with that, with the name, they must be slaughtered. And they have been slaughtering them. They have been making them disappear, right? In the last 6 years, they have killed and denied this whole killing. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya, especially when he resurfaced, when they attempted to kill him in 2019, and they failed. They were surprised. How did he escape? They cornered him. He was in his house. They killed there more than 28 people who were there. Like you can't arrest him, right? They killed over 28 people. Then he kind of managed to escape them. Resurfaced again in 2019 or so, resurfaced. And they have been after him since then. So when they captured him, or let me say, when they kidnapped him from Kenya, they brought him to Nigeria like a trophy. But yet, they couldn't prove anything in their own court. So the case got to their Supreme Court. In fact, before it got to their Supreme Court, at their own appeal court, the appeal court said, let's be honest, the process of renditioning him, the process of kidnapping him and bundling him back to Nigeria is so illegal that it has brought a diplomatic shame to Nigeria. And that acts as actually like rendered any attempt to try him in Nigerian courts impossible. So the least they can do is Nigeria. You hear that one? Nigeria must pay Nnamdi Kanu 1.5 billion naira. Apologize to him. Put him in a private jet and fly him back to Kenya where they got him. Now, if they now want to try him, they will first try and apply for extradition process, which means Nigeria will sue him in Kenya to the Kenyan courts. The Kenyan judges and all that will look at the merit and demerit. If the Kenyan judge now says, yes, you are guilty, you can be you can be extradited to Nigeria. That is when Nigeria can then take him to Nigeria and then try him for anything they want to try him for. Anything apart from that is a pure abuse of legal system or legal process. But Nigeria is a lawless place where Nnamdi Kanu has already been tried in the media and people have already been fed with so much propaganda that they are not asking themselves that if you say somebody committed a crime and you have evidence against him, before you didn't have him, now you have him. How come you are not presenting those evidence now and try him in your own courts? There is none. The primary purpose was to see if they could talk him out of it. When Bokwari couldn't, failed, you know what they are now doing? They are now looking for what they call the political solution. In their political solution, they want Nnamdi Kanu to sign an agreement that if they release him, he will just walk away. He will no longer talk about Biafra, and he will no longer come to Nigeria. If he agrees, they will release him right now. Right now. Nnamdi Kanu will walk out of that courtroom right now, right away. But the guy was like, it's not in my hand. Because as what we have suffered, in fact, before that, when Nnamdi Kanu resurfaced, after the attempt to kill him, Nnamdi Kanu now no longer call on the Igbo elite anymore. He no longer asks the Igbos in America or wherever they are anymore to come and defend Igboland. So one day, sometimes in 2020, Nnamdi Kanu, December 2020, Nnamdi Kanu just released this massive video. Nearly 5,000 young men and women, they were sort of displayed as the new security outfit in Igboland. By then, the Fulani terrorists, they have already started their killings from the eastern Nigeria to western Nigeria to even the core part of Niger Delta. This time around, Nnamdi Kanu was no longer calling anybody to come and join hands and do this anymore. He set up a security outfit called the Eastern Security Network. When they saw that sent a serious panic into the hearts of the Igbo politicians again. The Igbo elite, they were shocked. How did he manage to put this number? Where did he get all these people? Oh my God. So that means if this guy really wants to take us out, he's not saying he wants to take anybody out. He's not even threatening anybody, but they felt so threatened when they saw the ESN. And the ESN, which happened to be like the forest rangers. You know those they call the forest ranger. They are not there in the city. You can't find them in towns. They are there in the forest. And they have only one mission. One mission. And that is to neutralize any and every Fulani terror group they see in the forest of Igboland. How could anybody hate that? How could anyone be against that? That was like, oh, we've had enough. We need to kill this guy now. This is it. We cannot let this, you know. Again, this guy that died in London recently, he was alleged to have been the one that actually provided the private jets they used in renditioning Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. The guy died in London, you know, a few months ago. He was he denied it though. In fairness, so he said no, he wasn't the one. Oh, he was the liar. That no, he didn't do it. But allegedly, he was the one as one of the elite and politician that provided the aircraft they used in kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Abuja as his own part of the deal. ESN was then going after the Fulani terrorists, disguising as Fulani herdsmen. And around that time, Bokwari was like, no, Malamu and Co. Dead or alive, we need Nnamdi Kanu, dead or alive. So when they got him from Kenya and brought him to Nigeria, they still couldn't prosecute him until he defeated them in their own court. They now sent it to the Malamu. Now pleaded with this IP court, please don't do this. We cannot let this guy go. There are so many interests that would be disappointed. Can you please just hold him? Let the Supreme Court decide. They took him to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court judgment, which he was reading to them in court today, partly. Mazi, today.
On the lower court. So I was actually surprised that a high court have refused to obey or abide by the determination of a Supreme Court judgment.
And then take the only part that is against him and then refuse to apply the part that is in favor of him.
This cherry picking of what was contained in the Supreme Court judgment is what I'm against.
Yes, that's correct.
It should be implemented holistically.
Yes.
I'm not against facing any trial.
Judgment.
After all, I'm innocent, so they have not been against me. But there cannot be any trial when key sections of the Constitution and a key Supreme Court judgment has been violated by a court of law.
Are you concerned so you'll be patient for the case to go back and come back to the court?
This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The 5th year will not kill me.
Sorry, what if the case is also reassigned back to her? Will you still be comfortable?
It's not going on.
No, it won't happen.
It won't happen. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way at all.
Thank you very much.
These are the things that the public must understand. Most of you journalists, the legal correspondents, you don't take time to actually study some of these rulings and judgments. Go and study. In fact, I'll give you...
Bring that envelope. Bring the envelope.
Look at it here. Look at it here. Look at it.
I'll give it to her because I think she's a bit more...
Give her the Supreme Court judgment.
Can you hold this for me?
She can...
I want to let the whole world understand something. Very, very clear. In all this is judgment of the Supreme Court. It made it very clear that even that the impartiality of the judge is questionable. And it's here. Where is it? Please do bear with me. It says it here.
I like
what is it, page? What is that again?
Where
it says
page 18.
all these things are online. Is it not page 18? All these things are online. So I suggest that the journalists in this country actually take out time to do some basic research. It's not difficult, just minor research. You will understand the virtuousness, the emptiness of all the charges against me.
Okay.
They kept switching the charges. They said I committed this crime in England, isn't it?
Yes.
I made a broadcast in England.
Yes.
And in 9 charges leveled against me, this place where I committed this crime was London, in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself. I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me. Because since this offense was committed in England, so they said, it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Yeah, based on that, they removed London.
Based on that, they now amended the charge again and removed London.
Location of the broadcast.
Location of the broadcast. Contrary to section 196?
174 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2022.
In violation of their own laws. Violation of their own laws. And you want me to stand trial under such circumstances? Is that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where all these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible.
Because the Nigeria
of the people stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much.
Simple. I am fighting I'm fighting against the persecution of my people. It's, you can raise all allegations and all trump-up charges and the rest of them. Most of them that you cannot even prove in your own courts. Most of them that are actually against your supposed law in your own country. But in the media, they are pushing different narratives. They're asking for political solution. Their own political solution is for the guy to just stop talking about Biafra. And he told them, even if I stop talking about Biafra, at this point, people are more awake now. People are more awake now. The persecution still continues. Here you get. And we know that the persecution of the Igbos in Nigeria is not done to them without the consent of the political class, the Igbo political class. They are the most scared. They are the most scared about this IPOB thing. And that is why he said, those of them who wanted to keep him in their detention, they are doing so because him being there gives them some leverage. They are profiting from it. They are gaining from it. And in order to justify why he has to remain there, they are sponsoring different kind of terror group in Eastern Nigeria. And their media is always ready to tag anything happening in Eastern Nigeria, IPOB. Even when IPOB comes out to say, no, we have nothing to do with this, we will not do this, blah, blah, blah. No, their media will never publish that. Their media in Nigeria will continue to label everything going on in Eastern Nigeria as IPOB this, IPOB that. But when it goes to their courts, they do not have the chance, or they do not have the, the temerity to present the evidence that, okay, IPOB is doing this, and now Nnamdi Kanu ordered them to do it. No way. So the reason why they are keeping him is because they just want him to walk away. And that's how stupid they have become. Him walking away is never going to stop the agitation for Biafra. It is not. It's actually making it even more stronger if you kind of pay attention. So, Binta Nyako has been told to recuse herself. Recuse yourself from this case. You are biased. You are working for the establishment. And there will never be any real justice or any trial. They want him to come and stand trial. Nnamdi Kanu is telling them that you do not have any case against me. And I'm not going to stand any trial. Nyako said if Nnamdi Kanu is not ready to put up any defense, then she is going to go ahead and then convict him. He said, yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm not going to put up any defense. Because all of this nonsense you put together in your book, as your allegations, right? The person that put the whole thing together, where is he today? Where is Bokwari? Where is Malamu? Where are the others? Where is Abba Kyari? Where are they? Everything will still fall flat on his face. Oyendu.
Oyendu, IPOB. Omeri Wonindizu. Woniya. Abakare. Mama Dawora. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. Now Python dance 3. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. Now Python dance 3. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi bu Oyedu IPOB. Omeri Wonindizu. Ndiroya. Abakare. Mama Dawora. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. Now Python dance 3. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. Now Python dance 3. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. Now Python dance 3. Unapuri Meri Nnamdi. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2. python dance a three. Nnamdi win the war. Python dance 1, python dance 2, and python dance a 3. Nnamdi.
Thank you. So we are going to go to another development. And this time around, it is a recent interview granted by Dangote, still talking about a subsidy removal in Nigeria. Despite the fact that Thiefnubu continued to tell all of you that he's removed the subsidy, which he hasn't per se, rather they are paying more. Dangote himself has come out to kind of tell us now that, listen guys, the NNPCL guys are not honest. They are dishonest guys. Number one, they are paying subsidy that is just a make-up number. They have no idea how much oil or fuel consumption you do actually consume in Nigeria. But before I get to that, there is an image of Nnamdi Kanu that I want you to have right there in your head, including those of you that they have been raised to hate the Igbos or to hate him, forgetting the fact that those who want you to hate them, they probably will never want you to see this. 11 years ago.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu, and the reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children, and men for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy, we are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we're here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable, and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to refer to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something has to be done. And the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people, so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace. We are asking for people to get together. We are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the International Community for peace. The one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
He did one. And even if you want to hate him, and there's nothing anybody can say to you that will make you change your mind, or just so you know, the people that told you to hate him, they are also the same people who have failed to protect their women, children, elderly, young, old in Nigeria today. Today, the northern Nigeria has become the old shadow of itself, where their people are now living in the dens of kidnappers, where your women and children are being raped and sold as sex slaves by different terror groups that have now emerged from that part of Nigeria. To those of you from the southern part of Nigeria who never for once believed that terrorism will actually be your lot, that you end up selling your properties to pay ransom to the Fulanis from the Sahel, from Futagalon, Abi Futajalon, Futasoro, Abi Futa sadness. Today, they are telling us to choose between our land and our lives. The man they told you to hate, he warned us. Those who told you to hate him, they couldn't protect us. Poverty is now the order of the day. Look at what they have done to all of us now. And they are not stopping. They are not slowing down until they kill all of us. So if your own is to jump around and say, Nnamdi Kanu will rot in jail, it looks more better than some of you who are walking about like a walking corpses, the walking dead. In Nigeria today, that you could barely feed yourselves, that you could barely take care of your own family. A lot of you are just walking, walking corpses, waiting to be slaughtered. Some of you are just waiting as well, okay, to be killed by either the terrorists, the ones in uniform, and the ones not in uniform. So those who told you to hate on them or hate on Nnamdi Kanu, it is no longer a flex. If you come on social media and say he's going to rot in jail, you are free, Abi. Are you actually free? Are you? Are you safe? Nnamdi Kanu is safe. He doesn't have to be worried of getting kidnapped. He won't have to pay any ransom. He actually is a big fish in the pond or the ocean of your criminal leaders. His lawyers have applied severally to the Nigerian courts that Nnamdi Kanu should be transferred to the proper prison where it will be accorded all of the rights of somebody in prison, which is to see his doctors, see his family, receive visitors, read his own, read books, and indeed practice his religion and all of that. Yeah, but because they said every time they bring Nnamdi Kanu out from the DSS detention, they said it costs Nigeria 500 million naira. Yes, you heard me right. It costs Nigeria 500 million naira to bring Nnamdi Kanu out to court. How much do you think your life is worth? Your life is worth nothing to these guys. They can snap it anytime. But yet, the man you think, you can masturbate in public. You can gloat in public. He will die in prison. They leave him there. Let him die in prison. You are a prisoner without a prison wall. You are living a life of a prisoner in your own supposed country. So it is not a flex. To those of you nuisance, that possibly still living in that past. You are still living in that past, right? It is not a flex, all right? To say, Nnamdi Kanu, let him die there. I thought I should add that before we go to the next thing. The people, the people that have kept you in bondage, you are buying a liter of petroleum for 1,000 naira, a bag of rice for over 100,000 naira. You can barely feed yourselves. A lot of you are dying from preventable diseases or the preventable sicknesses. Things that you could actually still live for. You are dying because you cannot afford it. Nigeria is now the poverty capital of the world. Nigeria is also one of the most terrorized people in the world. Thank you to those who claim to be your leaders. And they are not slowing down. They are not. Here, Dangote, part of the interview granted to Bloomberg yesterday. I don't know, they published it yesterday. I don't know if it was yesterday, right? Listen.
So the government wants to get rid of subsidies. Will your refinery help with that?
Well, the government, subsidy is a very sensitive issue. If, I believe the problem is not only the subsidy, it is problem that, once you are subsidizing something, then people will be blotting the numbers and government will end up paying what they are not supposed to be paying. But this, our refinery, will bring quite a lot of issues out there. It will show the real consumption of Nigeria. Because, nobody can tell you. Some people say 60 million liters of gasoline per day. Some say, no, it's less. But right now, if you look at it, by us producing, everything can be counted. Right. So everything can be accounted for. And most of the trucks or ships that will come and load from us, we are going to actually, put a tracker on them to be sure they are going to take the oil within Nigeria. And that, I think, can help the government to save quite a lot of money.
So do you think it's the right time to get rid of the subsidies?
I think it is, because all countries have actually gotten rid of subsidies. Let me give you an example. Saudi Arabia used to give what Saudis, the citizens, believe that, look, oil is our own God-given gift. So the government shouldn't charge us for it. So government were selling it at a very low price. But today, as we speak, gasoline is about 40% cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia, which I think it doesn't make sense. That is one. Number two, our price of gasoline is about 60% of the price of our neighboring countries. And we have very porous borders. So it is not sustainable. You know, I mean, the amount of subsidies that were paid, government cannot afford those subsidies.
So do you need the government to take away the subsidies for your refinery to be viable?
Well, you see, we have a choice of either when we produce, we export, and when we produce, we sell locally. But we're a private company. And yes, it's true, we have to make a profit. We build something worth $20 billion, so definitely we have to make money. The removal of subsidy is totally dependent on the government, not on us. We cannot change, price. But I think, the government will have to, give up something for something, So I think at the end of the day, the subsidy will have to go. But what we have done now, with the government, which I think okay, everybody, will adjust to it.
But you're not worried, Aliko, that some of the oil majors, because of their vast resources, can sell for cheaper?
Well, yes, most likely, because in business, it's, I've said this in my interview before, where I said that I never knew that the oil industry, mafia, are stronger than the drug cartel. It's a big cartel. I will say this anywhere. The issue that you are right, they can say, okay, fine, to make sure that this refinery doesn't work, we'll keep selling cheaper. But right now, they won't be able to sell cheaper because they will not be able to take local currency. We will take local currency. We have the refining capacity, not only to satisfy Nigeria, we have refining capacity that is almost twice the consumption of Nigeria.
But you're also confident that you can strike a deal with authorities?
No, we will. We'll definitely strike a deal. The president has announced
soon?
It's going to start 1st of October. So I think between now and the next couple of days, they will come out with a very, very clean agreement.
It's a pretty big accusation. So the government wants to...
Fear God. Let me give you a bit of a background. Dangote is a very dishonest businessman, a quota system billionaire. You see, that interview is part of his new media run to try to see if he could still get Thiefnubu to twist his arm and get his way, have his way. According to Thiefnubu, they've removed subsidy. However, that is a lie because they are still paying it. But here is what they did. NNPCL is the one authorized to import finished product to Nigeria. And they are also the ones to pay subsidy on the imported refined crude, okay? So after Thiefnubu became your president, NNPCL bought Ohando distribution channels, which means you see all those Ohando filling stations, NNPC bought them. Now you are supposed to be seeing every Ohando, they were supposed to turn to NNPC. Unfortunately, they remain as Ohando, okay? So which then means they imported the fuel, and the subsidy being paid is now being paid to Ohando, okay? Now, Ohando is owned by DG Thiefnubu, who they said is Thiefnubu's cousin, all right? Between between 1992, sorry, from 1992 and 2023, April, the total assets of Ohando and their subsidiaries, they put everything at maybe $7 million. Now, between May 2023 and May 2024, Ohando's assets grew to over $7 billion because Ohando, being part of the NNPC, is now the one collecting subsidy money. So indirectly, Thiefnubu is paying subsidy to himself through his cousin. In the last 1 year, their asset has grown astronomically for that deal alone. Instead of the money to belong, if you buy something, it becomes yours, Abi. How can you buy something and that thing becomes the owner of you? So Ohando is now the owner of NNPCL and their distribution. So Dangote knows that. Okay, that's why he's talking about the cabal. So now what Dangote is now saying is that this subsidy you have been hearing, nobody inside the NNPC can tell you how much is the amount of fuel you are consuming every day. Somebody is just there and say, you know what? 50 million. That's how much people are using every day. Where is the proof? Don't worry, we are the ones in charge. We know what we are talking about. That's it. 50 million. Oh, it's 60 million. Oh, it's 80 million. There is no proof. There's no nothing. They just kind of write the figure and they roll the money out to themselves. So Dangote is now saying, for my own refinery, we have tracker. We can tell you how much fuel Nigerians are using. So if you stop importing fuel, we can tell you that it is 30 million. It is 50 million. So, and this is how much we want to sell it. So, for example, if you say landing cost, now you are buying it for how much? You are buying it for 1,000 naira, 9 something will be here. If you say imported fuel is 1,100 per liter, but you don't want people to buy it for 1,300, so you pay subsidy on it. So if you now say how much subsidy are you paying, say we are paying subsidy on 50 million liters. We are paying subsidy on 800 million liters. Here you get. There is no need for any proof. We'll just write the figure down. And they will release the money to this their friends in Ohando. They will share the rest. But with Dangote, he can tell you how much they are refining and how much they are supplying the market. So they can easily tell you that we have a tracker, the whole Nigeria, then we use more than 30 million. But you see these 30 million liters a day, and we can only sell it for 1,050 naira. So if you, NNPCL, want to buy it for 1,050 naira, you can then go and sell it for 1,000. You can go and sell it for 900 naira. Abi? So you just pay me the subsidy. If you don't want me to sell it for 1,050 naira, the difference, let's say NNPCL says, oh, we can't sell, we want to sell it for 950. I say, well, you would have to pay me 100 naira on each liter. And this 100 naira you want to pay me is just for 30 million liters a day. Oh, it's for 400 million liters a month. So you get that kind of thing. So if they do that, people that have been faking figure of subsidy and how much they are paying, they won't be able to do that anymore. So Dangote knows that the person that is collecting subsidy now is Thiefnubu indirectly. Because when Bokwari was paying subsidy and you were buying a liter of petrol for 167 naira to 190 naira, Bokwari was paying 420 billion naira every month on subsidy. Okay? And that is like 5 trillion or so. It's like 5 trillion naira a year. So when Thiefnubu came and told you subsidy was gone, a month after, Thiefnubu started paying himself over 900 billion naira every month for subsidy. And you are buying a liter of petrol for how much? 610 naira. Because they told you subsidy was gone. Do you see the difference? Thiefnubu was paying himself over 400 naira, over 450 naira per liter of petrol. Over 450 naira per liter. They are paying it to themselves. And they were not even paying it based on a verified figure. They were just manufacturing figure. Somebody can just come and say, how many liters of petrol, are you want to, how much that? Say, it's 600 million liter jari. 600 million. Okay. All right. Approved. How many liters to this month? It's 800 million. No. They say, 800. Okay. Approved. So Dangote is now saying that if they play the game well, the subsidy can be gone for good. And this time around, even if people want to buy it for 1,200 naira per liter, you will know what you are buying and what you are paying for. That, the consumption in Nigeria is just 30 million, no, is not 60 million, 70 million, no. So by so doing, Thiefnubu and his gang, they will not pay themselves subsidy anymore. So, and they don't even have to pay it anymore. But if they have to pay, then they pay to Dangote. That's why he granted that interview. To kind of cry out and say, there is a better option. Nigerians, we can track how much you are, but this currently, nobody knows how much petrol you are using. Everybody just a manufacturer figure. They collect money. But it's not like that. They are giving the money back to Thiefnubu. And he says to G's. Then he said, Nigeria petrol is the cheapest. That currently, the price of petrol, using the current price, the price of petrol in Nigeria is 40% cheaper than that of Saudi Arabia. But what that quota system billionaire failed to tell you is this. In Saudi Arabia, they say minimum wage in Saudi Arabia is 4,000 riyad. If you change them to Nigeria money, is over 1 million naira minimum wage in Saudi Arabia. In Libya, we no get government. They no get central government in Libya since the death of Gaddafi. A price of petroleum in Libya right now, if you change it to naira, is 52 naira per liter. So right now, everybody is out to kill all of you and make money from your blood. And Dangote is trying to pretend that he actually loves you. He has, if all of you know what is going on, this cabal, they don't want you to have a good life, but I want you to. If you want to see the whole interview, go on to Mayegun's Diary Politico right now. You will see the interview there. It's so cringy to watch. But it was there to pretend on the one hand. I said, they made a deal with him that they will give him crude oil. But what they actually gave him is this. They have given him 2 oil blocks. They've given him 2 oil blocks in Nigeria. They told him to go and drill the oil by himself and take as much as he wants for his refinery. And they will sell it to him like that. Because normal, Nigeria was supposed to be giving him about 11 million barrels a month. 11 million barrels means that Nigeria will give him like about 360, I think between 300,000 and 360,000 barrels of crude oil every day. But Nigeria no get crude oil to give Dangote. They have already used the future oil prospect in Nigeria as collateral, as loan. They've used it for loan. They do not have any. Let me explain that to you. There are a group called the IOC, International Oil Companies in Nigeria. They are the ones who brought their equipment to drill the oil for their own parent companies abroad. You know, Nigeria crude oil is the best in the world. They call it a sweet Brent. It's like crude oil all over the world. In so many places in the world, they come with sand that they have to, when they start distilling it, they decide to do all of this, that it takes a lot. And at the end of the day, it's pretty much, you know, like it's not profitable. But Nigeria crude oil is so sweet. It's so smooth. That anybody that can get it out of the ground, from the ground, get it up, you will make a kill. You can actually make more than 600 products from the Nigerian crude oil. You hear me? Over 600 products, including body cream, hair jelly, some of these things they use for plastic production, polythene bags, not just petrol, diesel, kerosene, what is the other one? Aviation fuel, jet one. There's so many things you can get from the product there. So many. It is so rich. But Dangote is so scared now to invest any more money in extracting crude oil. He wants Nigeria to fulfill the promise and agreement. About the sign paper, say they could give Dangote crude oil. Now they said from the 1st of October. But guess what? The actual agreement was that Dangote should go and look for people to help him extract it, because all these ones where they extract their own. The agreement is that they will give Nigeria a certain amount of crude oil every month. All right? And then once the one they extracted and all that, they will still give Nigeria 40% from the money. Then they give allocation, because Nigeria was supposed to be using some of their own crude oil in their own refinery. But since they don't kill all the refineries, right? They just use the crude oil as collateral to borrow money. So Dangote knows that. He knows that he would have to go and bring people to bring in equipment. They've already given him 2 oil blocks. He will need to bring equipment to extract it himself. And he said, I'm not doing that anymore. If I knew what I know today, back then, I will not build any refinery. But we don't enter them before I realize. That's why we can't go back. Nigerians should beg Nigerian government to fulfill their agreements and give me crude oil. You see how they are playing you? He said they should stop paying subsidy. So Nigerian Naira can have some. You detect Thiefnubu to not pay himself because of you. And you think that's going to happen? We shall see. So he said he's not investing anymore in raw material anymore. What does that mean? The raw material he needs to make his refinery work is that crude oil that is in the ground. Not the one they said they promised him. No. He will need to go and do that by himself. 2 oil blocks. But he's not going to be able to do it. So he said it is cheaper for him to go and buy the crude oil from Brazil, from Texas, than for him to go and invest again in extracting the crude oil. And this guy will come later with another policy that will likely just jeopardize everything. He doesn't want to invest in that anymore. But he's not letting go the oil blocks. He's not saying that, oh, I've given them back the oil block. I don't want it. We have it, but it's just I don't want to do it anymore. Nigerians should just talk to them, talk to these people. We are talking, we are trying to make this. Then he said they've made an announcement. Thiefnubu made an announcement that by the 1st of October, they will be giving him crude oil. We shall see. So your dream, he also said that, listen, NPCL, they are lying to you. The amount they told you I sold them my product is not true. In fact, I sold them my product 15% less. Oh, Benny, you demand, tell us how much. Tell us how much you sell it. So that these people said they bought it for 989 naira per liter. Abi? No, sorry, 899. No, sorry, 989. 989 naira per liter. That's what NMPC said they bought those product the last time. Remember? And now they want to sell it to marketers for 860 or so naira, which means they bought a liter at Dangote Refinery. From Dangote Refinery, they bought it at 989 naira, nearly 1,000 naira. So they are going to sell it to marketers for 860 naira. That is shorter than how much they bought it from Dangote. Right? So that means they are subsidizing it. They bought it higher, They are selling it cheaper to marketers. So the marketers can sell it to you for maybe 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. So Dangote is saying that, no, that's not true. That's not how much I sold it to them. We sold it cheaper, 15% cheaper. Papa, you the crazy. Tell us how much. Give the figure. If they are lying, then tell Nigerians that, no, I only sold it to them for 700 naira per liter. Why are they lying to you? But he's not saying it. Because the whole thing is just to keep playing all of you. And playing you. And they will continue to remind you that no matter how much you pay for petroleum in Nigeria, it is cheaper than how much they are selling it in Saudi Arabia. But they won't tell you that Nigeria's minimum wage is $42 per month. In Saudi Arabia, their minimum wage is over $1,000. 4,000 riyadi. In Saudi. So you where they collect $42. They say your oil is 40% cheaper. Then it kind of make my stomach turns, right? It's unbelievable what they are doing to you. I'll leave it at that. Sometimes, you can't fight for anybody who is not ready to fight for themselves.
You won't need a car to travel. You won't need an aeroplane to travel. You will just say, I want to go to London. And you'll be in London. Whether you believe it or not, the time is coming.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt.
I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
So that is why he's saying that those who are trying to sabotage his own refinery, that they are saying that they will sell the imported fuel cheaper. But it's not really realistic for them to sell their imported fuel cheaper. So that's why he's going on this media run. You go see him on CNN very soon. You could see him on BBC. You could see him everywhere soon. Because as it stands, when you get to October 1, now then you're going to say, they bobo you again. They lie to you again. And then they'll cook another one. There is no end in sight to all of this. No end in sight. Shorel too was in court just yesterday. It was in Abuja, where somebody is suing him for defamation or something. A publication done by the Sahara reporters on one fake pastor or so. And then they took him to court for it. He actually returned to Nigeria because of that, as well as the Fearless in October. You know, there's going to be this massive protest called by Shore next month. So he was in court yesterday to let everybody know that you cannot threaten me with arrest anymore. We don't pass that level. I'll show you.
Can stop an idea. Yes. Even in my coming to Nigeria, as you all are aware, I was arrested briefly at the airport. In my coming to Abuja today, somebody even called me and said they want to arrest me. And I said, I will be the happiest person to be arrested at any time. Because you cannot arrest the revolution. You can only arrest us for a few hours, few days, few months, and I've been through it before, and I'm willing to go through it again for the sake of the people of Nigeria. So we got a new date again, after coming to court, and we are going to be back in November. But it is very important that before November there's October. And in October there's October 1.
Yes!
Yes. And October 1 is fearless in October. Yes! Let me say that I'm really, really proud of those of you who fought during the August end bad governance struggle. Very, very proud. I could not be here. I apologize. But I'll be here for this one.
Woo! Hey. Revolution!
Now. And if they arrest me that day, please don't let that disturb you. You should, in fact, it should double your enthusiasm to make it even bigger. Because I was arrested in 2019 before revolution now. It still happened. I was restricted to Abuja. We still made NSAS happen. So I was not in Nigeria. End bad governance happened. So I'm not even big deal anymore in this struggle. You guys have become more radical than myself. So anybody that is wasting his time plotting some plots, they're just wasting your time, because Nigerians have reached a point where they are no longer afraid of death. Yes. Because the Thiefnubu regime has killed us with economic policies, with political policies. And those people who still believe that election can solve their problem, they saw it in Edo State yesterday.
That was the show. Reminding everybody that the least you can threaten them with now is arrest, as people are beginning to become conscious or consciously awake. So death is not a threat. Everybody is collecting left, right, and center. For the past for the past 2-3 months, I have been seeing different protests from those who are the victims of fraud being perpetuated by Solo Makinde Ibadan, Sheyi Makinde, in his supposed development project or so. Now I'll tell you what happened. So Solo Makinde is building this ring road or link road away from the major road, Ibadan to Ogbomoso or so, right? So he's building this link road at the back of the city, or at the back of the highway. And they are sort of demolishing people's houses, at the same time claiming people's lands. But they are doing more than that. That they are going beyond what they are building into the lands of people around the area, including demolishing people's houses without compensation. So people took to the street and said, no, we would rather die. They've been at the government house severally. So yesterday, he finally addressed them. And from his own address, he said, demolition will stop, taking your lands will stop. And I promise you as well that those whose lands have been taken, that can no longer be returned to them, you will be recompensated, and all, and on, and on, and on. I'll show you. Your state, people were like upset. Which kind of thing be this and all of that? Initially, they were using propaganda to dismiss them by saying that those are the people against development. But they were actually carrying out land grabbing and all of that. Along the axis, people's lands are being grabbed at will by criminal politicians working for Sheyi. So yesterday, he finally addressed them. So more here.
But they could turn violent. Peacefully, let us be. Peacefully, let us be. And the meeting, Ewaba. I can say this to you pé ìjọba yín ni ìjọba yìí. Mi ò ní Godfather. I have God the Father and I have you. Ẹ jẹ́ n sọ fún yín. There are few things tí ó jẹ́ pé misinformation ni. I go to the circular road almost every 2 weeks. Mo ti meet àwọn èèyàn ní corridor láti take you títí dé Bàdékù. I will stop and engage with them. Àwa tí ẹ fi sí inú ìjọba ń bì kò ń ṣàwàlà lọ́gbọ́n jù ní gbogbo ìlú. And that is why tí challenges bá wà and there are issues, ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jókòó ká wò. First, ẹ má jẹ́ kí anybody kí wọ́n turn this into politics. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, we should engage truthfully, openly, ká dẹ̀ wá solution sí. Ẹ jẹ́ n sọ misinformation tí mo rí pé ó ń lọ nígboro. Ẹ mọ̀ pé I've been on holiday for 1 month. Ìjọ́ tí mo dé, I went to the circular road because while I was away, mo monitor gbogbo nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, issues tí ó wà. Mo bá àwọn kan, I think ká tó dé ibi junction tó ń bọ̀ láti Olómi ni wọ́n dúró síbẹ̀. I came down. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Wọ́n ní first ilé àwọn fall sí inú 500 meters yìí. Pé bọ̀kù tí ẹ ń ṣe yẹn ni problem. Àwọn kan sọ pé ṣé circular road lẹ ti rí rail line gan bọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé a sì jẹ́ lẹ́yìn across over and above the 500 meters. And I stand before you. Mi ò need àti parọ́ fún anybody. Torí pé tí ẹ bá fi Ifá tàn mí jẹ, you voted for me massively, especially ní Ìbàdàn land. So tẹ́ ẹ bá fi Ifá tàn mí jẹ, èmi náà ò lè fi ọ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀ tàn yín jẹ. The 150 meters ìgbà Gómìnà Lamadeshina ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n validate ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú and Gazette wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n validate ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìgbà tí Bàbá Ládọjà tí wọ́n débẹ̀. Now the 500 meters ìgbà Gómìnà Jimobi ní 2018 ni wọ́n ṣe Gazette yẹn 2018. I came into government 2019. Ṣé rí n tí mo rí òní pé nobody no believe pé during their lifetime circular road will happen. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, because àkọ́kọ́ award contracts for the bridges. I went there. Wọ́n ṣe bridge ní iwájú bedroom ẹlòmíì, wọ́n wà nínú circular road yẹn, wọ́n ṣe bridge yẹn, wọ́n sì ń sọ pé no. Ṣebí ìjọba ti how many years ni àwọn ìjọba ti ń sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣe kínní, wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe kínní tí wọn ò ṣe. I have a solution. I have a solution. Ṣé rí the mistake tó wà ní pé àwọn tí wọ́n lọ mark ilé tí wọ́n sọ pé for demolition, we shouldn't have been marking the houses for demolition. Ṣé rí àwé yẹn dà tó kọ tó sọ pé ní corridor yẹn over 400,000 houses ló wà ń bẹ̀. It's a lie. gbọ́ mi tẹ́ bá feel pé irọ́ lèmi ń pa ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe enumeration yẹn ẹ yan àwọn èèyàn láti ọ̀dọ̀ yín látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba ẹ ṣe enumeration yìí Sherry, there are places ibi tẹ́mi náà lọ ni there are places where the 500 meters they were free kò sí anything bẹ́ẹ̀ and there are places tó jẹ́ pé the 150 meters ó wà even densely populated bí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ṣe rí nìyẹn so the solution ni pé first ẹ ti ẹ̀ jẹ́ ká mọ̀ nobody is demolishing anything I ask them freeze whatever it is tẹ́ bá ń ṣe ntí mo ń gbọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ yín sí ni pé ẹ fẹ́ circular road ṣùgbọ́n ẹ fẹ́ corridor àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ìjọba yín ni ibi tí corridor yẹn tí ó bá ti wà densely populated are integrated sínú integrated ibi tí ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ̀yin tó bá jẹ́ pé politician yín níbí ẹ̀yin tó bá jẹ́ politician yín this is not time for politics nílùú mi ìta lè lọ ní state mi ìta lè lọ it is a solution that we must all find to.
Nuisance lele.
Pure guy, man. And if you are from that part of Oyo State, right, you will understand the havoc that himself and his guys, they have wreaked in that axis. Of course, there will be right of way where people's properties will have to give in, right, before when you are carrying out such developmental projects, right? So they are building circular road to ease the traffic on the main motorway from Ibadan to outside Ibadan to that northern part of Oyo State. A great job, a great work. I've seen it. But there are people who are actually like demolishing people's homes that are far away. I mean, how can you say you want 500 meters? It won't really. The highest of what you can say you are okay, this is the road. You can say, okay, 150 meters or maybe even 100 meters away from the motorway. I mean, from that circular road, right? Enough so that you can limit, what people are going to lose, and then you can calculate what compensation will go to them. What they are doing is that they were just like marking people's homes for demolition and demolishing them and telling them that that's it. There were no provisions for compensation per se. You heard him now that he's not even certain of how many houses that will be demolished. That he just told these people that, oh, you need to stop demolishing the houses now. There was no real clear, but they were, because the intention is that their circular road is going to open up that part of your states. And you see land in that place now will become it will be like gold. So they will use the opportunity to take people's land in the name of government work. They will now resell the land to themselves or ISB and all of that, the way they normally do it in Nigeria. And people see through that. And they have been protesting and protesting until he came back from his holiday. Let's hear the rest of all he had to say, because I want it to be on record.
You. Ní inú 500 meters yẹn, àwọn ilé tó bá wà ńbẹ̀ tó stand right now, none will be demolished. But there will be, ẹ máa gbọ́, there must be no further development láìsí planning ní corridor yẹn. Ẹni tí ò bá tí ì kọ́lé tó sọ pé òun nílẹ̀ níbẹ̀ torí pé circular road ń bọ̀ òun fẹ́ lọ máa sáré kọ́lé yẹn sí kí wọ́n má kọ́ ọ. Àwọn ilé tó bá ti wà ń bẹ̀ right now, hear it from me, none of it nínú outside 150 meters yẹn will be demolished. None. Ẹni tó bá ti wà ń bẹ̀. So ẹ má jẹ́ kí anybody sọ pé bàbá tẹ ní pé wọ́n gbé omi kìíní. It won't be my intention pé kó jẹ́ pé tí màá fi san oore tẹ́ ẹ ṣe láti mú wa wá síbí ní pé to cause harm to you. I will always look out for the welfare and well-being of the people of Oyo State. So ẹ yan àwọn èèyàn nínú àwọn communities yìí, ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jókòó, a jọ ṣe ẹni tó lóun ò lọ síbi iṣẹ́. Part of the reason tá a fi ń ṣe circular road ó ní káwọn ọmọ wa lè ríṣẹ́ eventually o. Some of it you have industries in there. Ṣé ẹ rí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ talẹ̀ níbẹ̀, ẹ̀yin land grabbers, àjọ wọ ṣòkòtò kan náà ni. If you are a land grabber, mo mọ nǹkan tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Àjíà. Some of you, àwọn land grabbers ni wọ́n sponsor àwọn kan. But for genuine people, tẹ́ bá nílé níbẹ̀, kò sẹ́ńtà demolish ilé yín outside of the 150 meters corridor. Anybody tí ilé ẹ bá exist lénìí, you will be integrated into the development tí a ní ní corridor yẹn. And finally, let me tell you again, ẹ̀yin lẹ ní ìjọba yìí, and myself as your governor, I will always look for your well-being. But the law is also the law. You must be law-abiding because no government. Àwọn kan fẹ́ wá protest bí lẹ́ni. Nǹkan àwọn yẹn fẹ́ wá protest fún ni pé àwọn fẹ́ development. Tí everybody bá pàdé bí, a lè má lè control ń tá ṣẹlẹ̀. Just as you have the right láti protest, other people náà ní right láti protest. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọgbọ́n ṣe. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ kí n lose ẹnì kankan nínú bí.
Nuisance leleyi.
You know me, I happen to be one of the people that actually like the guy. I used to like him, but he's a total a fraud. The Gazette that they are talking about, right, was that they will give 150 meters, right? Then suddenly, the same people now extended it to 500 meters. Then they now claim that it was signed by the former government. How do you know that it was signed by former government? How come in the same Gazette, they have 150 meters? Then suddenly 500 meters. People don't sign 500 meters margin from the main road for development anywhere. Have you ever seen anything like that? 500 meters. One with the Astrop there is saying that, did I even listen to him at all? If you are watching me, if you are still there, I'm not from Ibadan and I probably have no property to lose there, but I have been following the whole thing for the past 1 year, at least in the earnest. So if the government says, it is in the Gazette, who they write the Gazette? In a fraudulent Nigeria, who they write them, who they erase them? So they have already developed it before Seyi Makinde became their governor. I'll be fine. Since the time of Lamadeshino, but they didn't build the road. But in that Gazette, original Gazette, it says 150 meters. So if your house or your land falls within that 150 meters, you will be compensated. All right? Then some of his agents, some of his guys, who are also the land grabbers themselves, all right, They now extended it to 500 meters. So do you even understand what 500 meters is? Eh? Do you understand what, if a road is here, a road like this, do you understand what 500 meters is to that road? Eh? Who does that? One will ask drop on YouTube is telling me that did I even listen to him for calling him a fraud? Oh, Nikure. That is the only thing. Trying to explain some things to some of you, especially if you are dealing with these corrupt criminal politicians in Nigeria. Some of you would like to want to try and find means of defending them. The criminal, Sheyi Makinde, is telling people that all of you whose land or houses have already been built within that 150 meter mark. Like, okay, this is the road. From here to this place, so 150 meters. So if your house is here, after the 150 meters, we will not demolish it. Okay? But to those of you who have land there, in that 150 meters, who have not developed your land, don't go and build the house. So if the houses that are going to be left, the house is already built after the 150 meters mark, if they are not going to demolish them, what stops the people who get land from that 150 meter mark from developing their land? What stops them? Because usually, right, it is always like 50 meters, 100 meters, 150 meters. Do you even know what 150 meters mean? From a main road, you are building a circular road. And then you say, okay, everybody here and call 150 meters, go. Everybody will go. Or from the 150 meters, you call those of you who have built your houses, leave the house, we won't touch it. But if you have not built your house, please don't. Because the intention is to collect the land. Resell the land. Because according to them, once the road is completed, it will bring in development. The price of land, price of houses will increase. And those of them who are members of PDP or your states, they are already high in the area. They are already high in the whole place. They will kind of allocate them to them. They will be the owners of the new land there. The owners of the land right now, they will chase them away. That is why you're having all these protests. You think we are stupid, Abi? Did you listen to him at all? Of course, I listened to him. So you think I will not believe him because he's saying it, Abi? The Gazette has been there before him. So if he says that the Gazette has been there before him, and it is 150 and 500, so I should believe him. I should believe because it's Sheyi Abi, he is the government. And that's what they normally do. If you look at some of the places that they've taken people's lands, they will tell them it's for development, it's for In another few years, you will see them, politicians, their family members, their friends, they will be the owner of the land. It's not new. So if you have people that you can actually try and shut them up because you think a politician is telling you, is saying the truth, and you want me to actually believe a politician saying the truth, even from what he said, is so contradictory. 500 meters. 500 meters. Abba. Anyway, I have other things I want to share with us though, right? I'm just going to leave it that way and let people react to what we have said so far. Everyone that is still here with us, I wouldn't mind if you can help me just type in the comment section right now. Everyone, hashtag free Nnamdi Kanu, hashtag free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you can do that for me, I will be grateful to you. Just put it out there in order to keep it going. So I am going to take a break. I'll come back and take calls. If you have something to say to this, the number is on your screen. Use it. And if you don't, before you leave, like the broadcasts. I will be back.
La
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for being there. It's been a little bit of a steamy afternoon. And usually, we normally don't really take calls during the brunch time, because it's more or less like a time to give you the snippets into what is still to come later tonight. But sometimes the conversation can be, much like engaging that people can't wait for later in the night. So let me see if I can actually get us up. First, let's see if I can get us up. And if I can't get us up, indeed, we can put it up for later. Okay. So I have shared with us this afternoon an ongoing injustice against a prisoner of conscience, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which is asking the Nigerian court to either let him go, because they can't try him, or the person in charge should recuse herself for whatever it is that they wanted from him. He would have a chat with them only if he is a free man. He hasn't done anything wrong other than asking for equity, justice, which Nigeria doesn't really give and will never give anyone. Indeed, people will say that sometimes, right, justice like this is not given. It's got to be taken, okay? At the same time, right, while you are seeking for when you're seeking justice, you do have a lot of sacrifices to pay as well. He is not really afraid or by any means sad, okay? He knows what he is up against, and he knows that all of this is not going to go for nothing. Those of you who are currently free, you are those who should not totally rejoice, because that can be taken away from you anytime. Where you see injustice in the land, and you look away, you see, one of these days, they will come for you too. And there would be possibly no one, because like they say, when they came for the Jews, 1 second. Oh, where is that? When they came for the Jews, I looked away because I wasn't Jew. When they came for, first, they said first they came for, but I'm going to go pull it out. I'm going to pull it up. I want to read it word for word, okay? They said first, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Mayegun, I am speaking out every now and then, simply because if all of us feels like it is none of our business, the day they will come for us, there may be nobody to speak for us. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists. Then they came for the trade unionists. Then they came for the Jew. Then they came for me. Thank you so much, everyone, that is using their own little voice, or adding your own little voice to others, that we would want to live in a just society, a just world. We are currently living in a world where all our rights are being taken slowly and gradually. And if you think it will never get to you, you are not thinking. No, you're not. That is why on Mayegun's Diary Politico, if you say they come for the Shiites, you kept quiet because you are not a Shiite. Then they came for the IPOB. You kept quiet because you are not an IPOB. Later they came for the NSAS. You also kept quiet because you are not a member of NSAS. They came for the Yoruba Nation agitators. You looked away because you are not a Yoruba Nation agitator. Oh, one day they will come for you, and there will be nobody to speak for you. So use your voice to speak out against any injustice that you see anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wrap it up now, okay? Thank you so much for your time. Join me later this evening when the line should be working properly. Until then, just stay safe, all right? And good afternoon.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń gba rìbá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Ayé Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnrakì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.